Good morning, good day, good evening, whatever your time zone may be. Doesn't matter, you are here for VRL and VRL only. And today we are here in Abu Dhabi for the creme de la creme, the final of the Season 4 Championship. And alongside me, as most of these races, has been Alex Bomberg. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to...
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Thank you for having me back.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise, working with you, as it has been for, well, I would say the majority, but
yeah.
It's been great all the way through, and really excited. It's really been waiting for this for, the last week. Excited to see how the drivers take to the track at Yas Marina.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I'm very much looking forward. It's been a long season, and with lots of inconsistencies, unlucky moments as well. But it's gonna be Felix and Sam battling it out for the title here today. So and Thomas, let's not forget him. He's still mathematically in contention for the championship with his Williams car. 22 is the gap between him and Sam. So if both gentlemen do end up retiring, all he needs to do is win the race, and he still can crown himself Season 4 champion. So 3 people mathematically in this fight. Realistically, it's gonna be 2. But I just can't wait to get started. To be honest, I believe it's likewise for you.
I'm sure. Yeah, I've had the chance to commentate over a few finales in my past as my work. Never have I commented over a finale this close, just 5 points separating Sam and Felix at the top. Like if they're in the top 4,
yeah,
obviously there is possibilities of them being a little bit further down and your position coming a little bit more into play, but provisionally right now it's whoever finishes in front. I'm just looking at my notes here that I wrote out before this race. We know Felix, he's been, and this is all question to you and maybe the viewers watching in the chat, Felix has experience fighting for championships. He was, Felix races in a handful of leagues, GPRL Season 5 champion as well. Will that experience when the pressure's really on to put together them perfect 28 laps of Abu Dhabi, will that pressure and that experience under that pressure help him out today against someone like Sam?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of this, but I do believe Sam's quite inexperienced in league racing. I'm not sure if it's been in more title fights before. It's gonna be an interesting one to see. Strategy-wise, it's pretty straightforward. It's gonna be 2-stopper for most of the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen yesterday in F2 where obviously Ice-T crossed the finish line in 4th position. That's exactly what he needed to win, or 3rd position I should say, and that's exactly what he needed to win the title. But after a post-race penalty given to him by the stewards, he was not champion, and he came home in P5, which means we crowned a new, or our first F2 champion ever, which was obviously Jay. But to be fair to Ice-T, he did take those laps, 20 laps. Those mediums, he took them 20 laps. So it's gonna be interesting to see if anyone's gonna copy that and try to take him long as possible.
Yeah, of course. Ice-T making a mistake yesterday. The fast right-hander, which is turn 3. Expect to see drivers struggling there. It's really easy, especially in the first stint, where I assume a lot of the drivers will be starting on the soft tyres. Them tyres really do scrub off and lose their grip quite early on, so it can be really easy for a driver to light up the rears and spin it around, like we saw Ice-T do yesterday. Of course, there was that whole controversy regarding the penalty. There were some interesting tactics used by Ice-T and another driver, but it just goes to show, and I've said this all season, anything can happen in VRL, and not only did we not know what was happening in the championship up until the final corner. We didn't know what was happening into the championship 3, 4, 5 hours after the race. So it was really intense, and I'm hoping for a battle like that, but a cleaner battle, hopefully, today.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, I'm seeing some stuff here, some interesting stuff. That Felix having some internet issues.
Yeah, he disconnected, and I'm not entirely sure what that was because of. But you know, Phil said we're waiting for him to get back into the session.
Yeah, we don't want to rob people of a fantastic championship fight because of his internet.
So when he rejoins, and I believe Kimmy will be changing to driver, we will have 17 drivers on the grid today.
I also believe that. I hope Felix can make it as soon as possible, and he won't get in the way of other people not having or not being able to finish this race. It's gonna be. I'm very much looking forward to it. So I hope internet issues won't play a part in this fantastic battle. And now, what's more to talk about for now as we wait on Felix to rejoin the session? Maybe perhaps we should have a little look at the chat.
Yeah, just I mean, looking at our chat, Felix saying, you know, there's no problem. There's so many problems with his Wi-Fi. His PlayStation won't connect. So big problems for Felix here, and worrying times for the championship contender. I'm sure Sam's going to be licking his lips at this stuff.
Yep, he for sure is. And I'm looking at the chat, at the YouTube right now. We have Steve in the chat. We have Millennium Kid, Rico. Instead of all, he said he crashed out in the last final, so we can watch our final, which is obviously great. Happy to have him here. We have Compassion and Jay, obviously two main characters last time out in Abu Dhabi. We have Nick as well. Yeah, and Stein, the team of Racing Point. Guys, let me know, who do you think will be the Constructors and the Drivers' World Champion after Abu Dhabi? I just hope we can start it as soon as possible. Yeah. I mean, there's not much, there's only so much we can talk about until until we run out of things to say.
Yeah, I mean, as our job as commentators, you know, we waffle a little bit, so you know, we can fill the time, we can fill the void.
Yeah, for sure.
Just taking a look back to yesterday's F2 race, action aplenty. There's 2 DRS straights here at Abu Dhabi, 21 corners to navigate, including the infamous hotel section under the glitz and the glam of the hotel in Abu Dhabi. It's a really technical track, but at the same time the drivers have to balance, you know, their straight line speed with the 2 long DRS straights, with big heavy braking zones at the end of them, and also the really tight technical sector, which is sector 3. So the drivers, in terms of setup, and they're quite pressured into, you know, finding the right balance.
Yeah, it is, and for me, what's most interesting about the circuit is the second DRS straight, as it's just about not long enough, 9 out of 10 times to make an overtake off like that. So I think that might be a little bit frustrating for some of the drivers. So it will be very interesting to see. Meanwhile, we are 7 minutes over time. Sorry for the delay, as we said earlier. We're just waiting on Felix, and now we can very much get started. Perhaps we can talk about F2 more yesterday. Perhaps also your race. How did your race go, Alex?
My race was I'm at GMT.
Good evening.
As always, doing a good job, and crazy race. A controversial finish.
Sure.
For those who have watched the stream, I'd be interested to see what your views are on the incidents in the live chat. For those who haven't, please, once you've watched this stream, if we eventually get going, please do go and watch that.
Yeah, and as you said, my race was basically over after 2 corners. I got squeezed between on the second corner. I was completely on the apex, and then I got squeezed between two drivers, and my race was basically over. And it's another DNF. So 3 races, 1 P14 and 2 DNF. So that's not a brilliant record. Hope I can come back next season and turn that around. Obviously, while we're here anyway, it's the last race of the season. About next season, that's going to be interesting. Obviously, transfer-wise, we have already had an outcoming of Luke and Sam saying they want out of the Racing Point car, and Marine's also leaving Mercedes. I personally believe Phil will follow Marine through, so that's going to be interesting. And Renault already showed interest in Marine, so it's going to be a pretty crazy driver market once again, as it always is in any league.
Yeah, of course. I expect to see a lot of dwindling around. Little thing getting from our very generous sponsors over at Hot Lap Mode. In terms of the championship being decided, Abu Dhabi. It's been decided 4 times, 3 times, sorry, I should say, on the Abu Dhabi circuit, 2010, 2014 and 2016. So Abu Dhabi won for their championship deciders. The starting position win percentage is 50% from pole position. So, you know, if a driver qualifies on pole, as Felix has managed to get back into the session, that is great news.
He's in. That's good, as you said.
Good to know. But yeah, 50% of pole sitters managed to convert that into a win. 40% from second, and then if you look onto the second row, third 0%, fourth 10%. So, you know, if you want a real shot of winning, expect it to come from the front row. As finally we can get going. 16 drivers.
16 drivers, 11 minutes late, but 12 minutes late actually, but that doesn't matter. It will be worth the wait when we get on the way.
Should hope so. So yeah, thank you to Hot Lap Mode. Tyres that are all here today. The C3s, the C4s, and the C5 tyres. So the softest range of tyre compound that Pirelli can bring, have brought. Should spice things up. As you mentioned a little bit earlier, Sam, should be an easy 2-stop race. I'd be surprised if we see any drivers try and take a 1-stop unless they start on the mediums and go on the hards.
Yeah, but the hard tire doesn't really work around here. Although I must say, track position can be a vital thing around here. It is pretty easy to get caught up in traffic here around here. I expect no rain, obviously, as it's in the middle of the desert, but you know, it's a game, so. And to be fair, it did rain a little bit in 2018. Where there were small drops of rain coming onto the track. They were not enough to go onto the inter tires. When they fell down, they just went into nothingness, and there was no rain coming onto the circuit. But let's see what Phil can do, as he's the first one to come out of the pits to get away for a Racing Point there. I believe it is Sam, championship contender Sam. First in the standings, first out on track.
Indeed, as the drivers exit the pit lane for the first time, one last time this season. Who's going to be able to put it on pole? There's a lot of picks. I'm really excited to see, as I mentioned just a moment ago, pole position or even a front row start, very important here. And I'm actually looking at the sky, Sam. It's looking very overcast here in the desert. So, you know, you mentioned it's not actually 100% out of the question that we get a little bit of rain here. I'd be so surprised, but, you know, as I said earlier, anything can happen in VRL.
It can, and obviously it's a game, so it's a little bit more realistic, or not unrealistic, but a more realistic chance to get some rain.
Yeah, just looking at a couple of drivers, got Pleasurable down in P8 on the hard tyres. Also Xavi Mateos, who I believe is standing in for VRT Sam today.
He is.
Scored points yesterday in F2. Had a solid race.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be fighting at the front.
No, but it's worth a shot.
If things go his way. There's always quite a few crashes here. Remember, back to Rosberg and Kartikeyan back in 2012. I've sort of taken a leaf out of Adam's book here, fellow F2 commentator, and I've got a question of the day for all the drivers. So obviously, as we know, Rosberg and Kartikeyan had their big crash as Kartikeyan that caused Kartikeyan to slow. That is my question, and I'll be checking the chat at the end of the qualifying session. So, what was the issue on Kartikeyan's car that caused him to slow down, which ended in that massive airplane crash for Nico Rosberg?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, but I wasn't in the gearbox issue. I'm not too sure actually, so I've not given away the answer, but my answer will be there was a gearbox issue.
Well, we'll come back to it at the end of the session. We've got the drivers starting the laps now, notably Felix. We've got a few drivers opting for the tow. I've just seen Felix purple through Sector 1. He's, after his issues earlier, clearly up and running again. Positive signs for Felix. Looking at Sem, he's gone purple in Sector 2. Here we go. It's a spicing up the Sem.
Yeah. So, just coming around the beautiful hotel section here. Qualifying can already be a massive factor, as you said. Races have mostly been run around here with from pole position, so qualifying can be very important here. It's going to be 7th the first lap time of the day, and it's going to be 1:33.4.
That's a solid lap from Sam. He didn't make any mistakes on that lap. I think he's still got a little bit of time in it though. Felix though, going well. Phil, less than a 10th off Sam. Darth Beefer, just over a 10th behind Sam in P3. The times are all quite close as they come flying in. Felix now into the final corner. What is this first lap been? Is it enough to put him ahead of championship leader Sam?
No.
No!
P6 behind Avesta Racing. Shocker for him.
1 whole second behind Sam.
This could be very worrying for him. I hope he has made a mistake on his lap. If not, that might be very, very worrying for him. As he's down in P8 of 16 people.
Felix, purple sector 1. Lost about 6/10 to Sam in sector 2. And in sector 3 lost a further 4/10. So that is screaming at me. Felix has got a lot more pace in the bag than that. I was talking to him earlier in the week. He said he's got tricks up his sleeve. We know Felix has been practicing day in, day out for this. He wants this championship. There's a lot more pace in the bag than P9 for Felix.
I hope there is. Meanwhile, we're on board with Moran, who just got a little slipstream of his Mercedes teammate Phil, as he's coming on the final sector. Obviously, you can abuse track limits here in the last corner. I've not seen many drivers do that. Obviously, it's a bit of a risk, so you can get your lap invalidated. But for now, it's going to be P5 for Moran here.
Yeah, just at the top. Again, Phil putting in a solid lap. P2 from the Mercedes. And as it has been for the last couple of races, Phil, the lead Mercedes out of the pack.
Phil's found some confidence back after he fixed his internet.
Yeah, and it's great to see the fire in his belly. Moran though, P5, better. You know, he really struggled in Brazil and had no pace at all. But Moran doing better, and that's going to be good for his confidence.
It is. Obviously, his confidence did take a bit of a hit after that race in Brazil. Some issues with VLT Sam as well stopped him from catching up to that pack, the DRS train I should say, which was really carrying each other along there for 7 people. Meanwhile, Isley's on a lap, not the F2 champion as we said earlier, but he has got a shot in F1 here. driving for McLaren. It'll be interesting to see what he can do after the disappointment of yesterday for him. He is very much out of sync in qualifying here though. So free track position for him. We have 10 minutes remaining in the session.
Yeah, a little bit strange, but as you mentioned earlier, IST, a little bit like Mass in 2008. IST champion for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours before that penalty was upturned. It may have even been a bit longer than that, but nevertheless it doesn't.
Oh, he goes straight on, and he's a penniless lap. That only leaves him a few 2 more laps, so he's gonna have to perform very quick.
Just seen Dylan on a lap. He's backed out. I don't know if he's going to go again. No, he's into the pits. So drivers just warming up to the track. There is quite a lot of track improvement as it rubbers in. All the times, well, if you look at the gap between P6 and P10, you're separated by about 0.2 of a second, so that's really close. Further up, first down to fourth, 2.5 seconds. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
There is, and obviously, faster racing has really surprised me a little bit. He's only a few tenths behind, or less than a tenth behind FIFA, and also very close to Tim. So he surprised me here. The man in front of him, Felix, has to get a move on, or not a move on, but a move up the grid order to have any chance of winning this race or have any chance of winning this championship.
Yeah, I'm very confident in Felix. He's been very strong in both qualifying and the races as of recent. There's got to be more time in that lap, and I'm going to follow him throughout this lap.
You can, and you take us through a lap of Abu Dhabi with Felix, championship contender.
So through the penultimate corner, this is very fast. Obviously, Felix not going at any speed, gearing up for his lap. He's going to have max engine mode, max fuel mode for his penultimate run of the weekend. We would imagine turn 1. It's a 90-degree left-hander, trying to open it up as much as possible. Third gear for rotation, bit of exit curve, left, right, up the hill. This is flat, really easy to lose the rear end as we go down the hill into the first of many chicanes here. Braking down into third gear, inside curve again as we go right. Now we've got a left-hander. It's all about the exit here as we exit. Traction, very important. There's Tim for a little bit of slipstream. As mentioned, the long DRS straight into the heavy braking zone of what I believe is turn number 7. Not entirely sure, haven't got my turn numbers up. 100-meter board, we're braking, going left, throwing it right over the curve, exit again, important. There's Tim again. DRS, a slipstream and a toe as we go down the second DRS straight into another chicane. Braking, very important here. You can use a bit of the curb there. Felix ever so slightly wide. Track limits can be abused a little bit here. There's a bit more time there for Felix, throwing it left as we now go into this very tight technical section. It's very important for the drivers to hook this part up. Right, braking again into this very tight right-hander. This is a slow section now. Really important you hit all your apexes left under the tunnel, left again, back on the power, use all of the track on the exit. This, as much commitment as you can into there. We're braking for one last time, run over the curb on the exit, back on the power. That's a lap. It's going to put Felix
P8. It's not what he needed. I believe he lost a loads of time in the third sector there as he went purple in the, I believe, in the second sector, but he has to speed it up a little in sector 2. But this man who's on pole right now, Philip Smith, could it be his second pole in 3 races, I believe, with a 133.3. He could go for another pole position after his last game in USA. Could he end the season off with a victory here? As he's also stepping down from the admin role after this race, which both of us will take over. Obviously, it's very sad to see him go. He's done a lot for this league. Well, he is this league, basically. And it will be one more race as Luke goes pole position, provisional pole position, I should say. And he, with a 33.2, he's top of the table ahead of Phil.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Phil stepping down. Thankfully, he's still around. He's not going to go completely. He's going to really focus on season 5. So, if he keeps us up, I wouldn't be surprised if he mounted a championship challenge, as I think the track's starting to ramp up now.
It is.
Hardcore Gamer P2, Luke P1. Both them drivers will get another lap in. Felix P8. So 0.8 of a second off. There is more time in that lap. I noticed he wasn't as aggressive over the track limits as some other drivers have been. So is there 0.8 in that lap? I'm not sure. But he goes down behind Ice-T. FIFA, I think, has just set a lap.
Okay. And meanwhile, Sam's moved down the order to P4. But the good news for him is his nearest championship rival is FIFA, who's 7th, and Felix is all the way down in P10. So it's looking good for the man in the racing point. One ball now, still on a lap, on his way to return to the pits. I think we should focus on Sam and Felix as they go for the last runs of the seasons.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't want to sound disappointed by Felix's pace, but I was expecting more.
It's just not what he needs, is it? It's just not what he needs.
You know, he's running the risk of not starting in the top 10. Meanwhile, Sam, up in P4, we know Luke's going to help him out. But we'll have to see if Felix has got everything in the bag. If he has got all them tricks up his sleeve. You know, we don't know his fuel mix, we don't know his ERS mode.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure, but I believe in Sector 2 he went purple, but that's perhaps
he did have a double toe though.
Yeah, that is true, but he lost it all in the third sector. Perhaps he lost some on the exit after those little chicanes. I believe that is a place where he did lose a little bit of time. He overshot himself in the second one, I believe, coming up to the second straight. So that is where the place he needs to look if he wants an extra 10th.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to see that in his data, in his times. We're just watching Steve on his lap now. P15. Funny to think now, from being in 15th, I heard a little laugh there, Sam. It's funny to think that he would have been championship contender. Looked on. I think he led the championship actually after Baku. As
he won 2 races.
Yeah,
as he's in this P9. Yeah, it just things just went backwards for him. I believe he got a little dismotivated as well. Obviously, he is retiring. It's his final race as a driver. He is going down to the steward role. Well, not us, I mean more you. My steward role has long been decided because I quit it after season 3.
Yeah, I'm still running steward. We know Stein is stepping down, so I'm not sure if Steve or I will take over that role. Obviously, with me running the league with you, Sam, I'm sure Steve actually backs out of that lap.
Yeah,
I'm sure Steve will be a good pick. He's an experienced racer himself, has won races in multiple different leagues.
Has also had his fair share of incidents, so...
He has. I believe he actually picked up a race ban this season.
Yeah, I believe he did.
Do that.
Yeah. In VRI history, I believe,
Steve
but...
actually, yeah, Steve, that was a quick lap for Steve. He's backed out of it. He's going to go again. That's going to affect his tyres into the race. I'm not sure if he's planning to start in the top 10. Meanwhile, we've got Luke giving Sam the toe.
I'm not sure if it's effective. Yeah.
Has failed. Sam, why don't you take us on a lap of Livid Racing, Sam? In his final qualifying lap of the season.
Oh, I saw he was 3 tenths down already, so he's gonna have to make up some huge amount of time. That's Dylan there. They were in a party earlier, and he will give them a slipstream in exchange for another slipstream from their point of view. So he's coming up to the final sector right now. Tricky chicane here. Normally I run this in 4th gear. He decides to go in 3rd, clipping, making use of the circuit as much as possible. And then coming up to this a very tricky corner, as you earlier said. Narain Kovtakayan and Nico Rosberg came here together. Now you want to clip the inside as much as possible. It's a little loose on exit there. and he's gonna come round to the hotel section. You want to use the track as much as possible here, maybe even touch the wall, not too much obviously. You can really use track limits here, or late on the brakes as late as possible. You don't want to think about too much about exit, as it's a short straight coming up to the finish line, and he is P3 behind his teammate. Felix was on an outlap and is, I believe, still able to finish the lap. I hope so. He's got 31 seconds to complete the final sector.
Yeah, of course. Only P3 for Sam. I say only P3, all within a chance. It's always really close.
It is.
He's going to repay the favour. So if Sam is finishing third today,
it's enough.
Well, it is enough, unless Felix wins the race.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm honest, at the minute, Felix only 11th. He's on his lap now. This needs to be an astonishing lap for
Tim
Felix.
again.
Tim
And
doesn't get the toe right. He went too late there, so that's not beneficial for Felix. He's going to struggle.
he is, and it's P11 thus far behind the F2 runner-up.
Yeah, of course. There goes Tim again. So, a second
Now,
bite of the cherry.
this is his second chance. I believe they have timed it perfectly this time, so that will give him a little advantage. He's purple in sector 2 once again. At least that's what it says on my track map. And he goes over the curbs here, just like Sam. It seems to be.
Wide.
But it doesn't matter too much. We saw Sam going completely loose through there, so it doesn't lose him too much time.
Can he hold it together for this crucial hotel section? Not fully utilising all of the track limits.
That's the racing on the inside there. This could be breaking for the championship. Is it going to be enough for pole position? No, it certainly is not. It's going to be P9 behind his teammate, and he's left with a massive job to do. P9 when his rival is in P3.
Only P9, that's not what anyone was expecting for Felix. He's had an incredible run of form as of recent. But not only that, we've sort of skipped over this point. Phil Smith,
on pole position once
for
again.
the second time this season.
And the second time in 3 races, I believe. Fantastic.
Of course. I really hope that he can keep this up into the race. I'm really looking forward to the start. Luke, as always, keeping the pressure on in P2. Sam, P3. As Tim actually went P4. No, he didn't.
Ooh.
Sorry, that's Dylan.
Oh,
sorry, that's Dylan. Not a bad effort from Dylan. Up in P4. Good news for the Haas boys. Article Gamer again did a good job up in P5, and really interesting this is for the race.
it could be
Then we've got a caution.
Felix needs a miracle, but it could all be over at turn 1. Steve has a 5-place grip penalty, and so does Placeable.
They must have made contact then.
Yep. Well, tough job. Tough job. I mean, what position does Felix need minimum to win the championship? 5 points, so that's 7th, I believe.
Yeah, Felix needs 7th to win the championship. That's if Sam doesn't score points. So if Sam's going to finish 3rd, Felix needs to win the race. If Sam finishes 2nd, Felix needs to win the race. If Sam wins, Felix can't win.
No.
Just one little thing before I announce my question of the day from earlier. Nirain Kartikeyan, Nico Rosberg had their crash in the final sector here back in 2012. Nico Rosberg was sent over the top of the HRT because it slowed due to what issue? What issue was that? Just as the formation lap starts, I will be revealing the answer. One last chance for any of you to get it in on the chat. Be looking forward to see some of your answers. Sam, do you have any idea?
I believe it was a gearbox, but I saw some answers saying it was a hydraulic failure, so I'm not too sure anymore. It probably wouldn't have helped. It was a HRT as well, so it was already going pretty slow. Who knows? Everything could change though. Sam P3 right now, but imagine if it gets hit from behind. That could be a problem for him.
Of course, and front wing damage is always an option. I'm sure it's not one that the drivers will take. It's always an option. Going back to my question of the day, congratulations to Jacob22 F1. Managed to answer it correctly. It was indeed a hydraulic pressure issue which caused Carter Kane to slow down. Rosberg came almost unsighted behind the HRT, and we all know the results. Well, let's get cracking for one final time in season 4. I'm so excited.
I am also. It's gonna be. Felix is gonna need a miracle to get up in front and overtake Sam, and then still outscore him by 5 points. I don't believe he's gonna win this race, but never say never. I must say, TTT Totic was in there for a little moment, so that slowed Tim and Felix right down. It's going to be ideal for the tire pressures. Very long straights, you can weave a lot here. Unlike Kimi Räikkönen did in 2017, where you just sit still and brake a little bit, which is obviously also a very good manner to warm up your tires.
Of course. Everyone in the top 10 opting for the soft tyres. P10 down to, well, P11 down to P16, all opting for the medium tyres.
With that alternate strategy, they could be a factor in the points. I haven't talked about Javi Mateos actually. It's his return to Vrl F1. I believe that his last race was VRL. His last race in VRL F1 was Silverstone, I believe. So his return here today ahead of his former teammate Steve after that 5-place grid penalty. I was just thinking as well, Felix came on the chat, said he had 6 hours worth of sleep. That could also be a factor of tiredness, just not being alert enough to put in a good lap.
Potentially. You know, we never know. But here we go.
One final time, bounce the ball, lines long on the grid for the last race of the season. And we have Phil on pole position. Waiting on the far red lights. There they are.
Wait for the delay.
Lights go out and away we go, and it's Phil from pole position. Luke with an awful start. Dylan can immediately take both racing points, but he has to back out of that. Marine down the inside of one of the Renaults there, I believe that's Tim. And Sam remains in P3 and Luke is in P2. Dylan on the outside of Sam though, has to be careful he doesn't get caught out by Marine there. And he is going to risk it down the inside. No, he isn't. He isn't. He holds up Marine for P4 there, and he remains in P4 for now. Meanwhile, Tim's up to P7, fighting for P6. And now coming onto the main straight, he's going to lose out to the Ferrari here. But perhaps with a low down for setup. And we have Felix. He did make up a position off the start, but he's now already been demoted back down to P9 as the FIFA has taken that position off him, and he found himself in P9, the same place where he started.
Yeah, I followed Felix from the start. A cautious start from Felix. He knows what he has to do. His teammate though, making up positions as he's up the inside of one of the Ferraris. Felix playing it cautious, thinking about the long game. That's smart, but you can't afford to hold back forever.
He cannot. So he needs to get a move on as his teammate or has his championship rivals all the way up in P2. That's 18 points to add to his championship tally. And with only 2 points added to Felix's championship tally, it's just not going to be enough. but he is in this huge strain, which is leading him all the way up to P5. He has to get through this as quick as possible. I hope for them they can lead each other with the DRS towards the rest of the pack, as battling will not help too much.
Yeah, right now, even if Sem drops out of the race, it's not enough for Felix. As mentioned earlier, he needs P7. It's not looking good at the moment for the Renault driver. Oh, Marai's gone very wide. Oh, he collects that very well over the bumps, making a similar issue and mistake to that Ice-T did yesterday. That's going to put Darfifa right on the back of him. Further forward, Tim down the inside of TTG Toxic. That's put him up into P5, and he can get a move on. Most importantly though, Phil Smith holds the lead of the race.
And as you said that, they were still battling it out at the front, no DRS, just enabled. And TTG Toxic down the inside of Tim once again, he pushes him wide. Now is Tim gonna rejoin like Roman Hulkenberg once did? No, he cuts the track a little bit and rejoins behind. No penalty for him just yet, but he can't do that too much, as that will very much result in a penalty for him later. On the outside once again, is he gonna get squeezed again? I believe so, he is, but this time he leaves a little bit more room for him to get past. He's on his side pod and he still tries to hang it around the outside, but it's no good for him. He remains in P6. And already a 2-second gap towards Dylan, who's only 7 tenths behind the Racing Point guys.
Yeah, Phil, he's not running away with it. I think he's trying to conserve his tyres, as will a lot of the drivers in the top 10. That may give someone like the Ferraris and the guys behind him a chance to close back up. There's a 2-second gap. That was 2.5 seconds at the start of that lap, so that's come down by 3 or 4 tenths. So that may be that's something that Felix wants to see, but he's starting to struggle. He's the last of the drivers on them soft tyres.
In my opinion, the best thing Felix can do right now is get into the pits as early as he can. Undercut this train, you can very much gain 2.2 seconds with the undercut, depending on how good your strategy is. Perhaps the soft tires are just not for him, but he needs to get off them as soon as possible.
Yeah, Sam pressurising Philip. We've got a couple of battles to focus on, including the championship battle. Phil, though, now DRS has been enabled, is coming under attack from Sam, who's looking poised. It's very early, I know, but looking poised to claim the VRL Season 4 champion and be the 4th different champion in as many seasons of VRL. Phil, though, the Season 1 champion, holding it in up in P1.
He is.
As Tim's got past Toxic now.
He has, and that could for now. He has 2 things he can do. He can either try to hold up this pack, or try to attack the top 4 pack, and that could also help his teammate. But I think Tim's mostly focused on helping his teammate. But how is he gonna help his teammate? Oh, as there's a crash with Plausible, I believe.
Plausible. Yeah.
And was that with Jamil, or was that completely on his own? I don't believe he has damage. No, he has not. Emil seems to, interestingly enough, at the fastest lap. We have a few people pitting already. Felix just stays out. Felix stays out, very much surprisingly. Dylan, as you said, and Phil's rejoined just ahead of Dylan. So was he whole in the pits there? That could cost him some time. Look how close look how close Dylan is.
Yeah, I did notice Phil was in the pits. He's obviously got held up as Mercedes, the first one in the pit lane. He's been held up with both the Haas and the Ferrari coming past him. But with the undercut, he should be protected from Sem and Luke. Meanwhile, I think Felix might be trying to make a move on Avesta Racing now. Oh, sorry, that's Avesta Racing trying to make a move on Felix. So Felix has got to get into the pits this lap.
He has, and I think he might have made a wrong choice for staying out a little too long. Well, it's only 4 laps, of course, but he can't make those softs work, and he's even getting mocked off by FT runner-up Ice-T, but he is trying to make a move on Avesta Racing, so that saves Felix from a further demotion down the grid. He's now up in P6, with the pit stop made by Phil and Dylan and Toxic, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Marine is following behind Darfifa, who himself is following behind Tim. bit of a gap to the Racing Point boys. Sem pits. So, has his outlap been good? Has his in-lap, sorry, been good enough to jump Phil? Phil maybe lost a second.
Felix goes into the pits here as well, so he follows his championship rival. Perhaps he should have done a little earlier, but that's a little too. When the boys are preparing for the stop, they fit this medium.
Has it been enough?
I believe it has. I believe it has. It's gonna be very close, but he has made it work. And Dylan's even just Dylan has jumped Sam, so a very powerful undercut, and only one lap less fresh tyres.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the undercut powerful. That's got Dylan from 4th up into provisionally 2nd now, because Luke's gonna lose time, unless one stop is not really an option here. But yeah, as I said, Dylan up into what is P13 now will eventually become, I would imagine, P2.
Now, what are Tim and Luke gonna do? Are they gonna come in this lap, or are they gonna go for another lap on these very already old softs? I can see Tim struggling as he's lost his car for a little moment there.
Yeah, he's lost 8/10 so far in the last couple of laps to Luke. The Renault's just not having the pace today. When it really came down to it, Tim having a big slide there. Luke pits. I can assume Tim will follow him in. There he goes. Darth Vifer as well. Darth Vifer continues, as does Marine, who goes into the pits. So that's going to release Ice-T. Ice-T will actually lead this race, crazily, after not leading yesterday. Ice-T is going to lead the race, which is quite funny. Unless he makes a mistake. Dylan quite like the race.
Duffy's actually still in front of him, so he's not gonna let. Oh! Someone lost his car, and it's Avesta Racing. He has to be careful doesn't join back into the middle of the track there. He's reset the track. That's a penalty now. That means a penalty. 10 seconds on his end. That's not what he needed, and he's been passed by Sam there, as he was already on the medium tyres. So that's completely screwed his race. No problem for him as he lets Luke go by.
Yeah, he will pick up a 10-second time penalty. That was a dangerous rejoin off the track using the reset to track feature.
A very tricky place.
Yeah, Sam's got to be really careful here with Dylan and Phil. He wants this win, but he's got to bear in mind where Felix is. It's not good enough for the championship for Felix right now. He can sit here. Yeah, the racer in him will tell him, come on Sam, go for the move, but he does not need to, and he needs to bear that in mind.
He does. And I know Sam is a very calm guy, so I'm sure he can filter this out. I must say, Toxic not too far behind this pack, and not too far behind Toxic is Tim, and not too far behind Tim is Felix. So it could still very much get interesting. Felix has jumped Marine here, I see. I only just noticed that.
We know how. I'm not going to bring any conspiracies into play. Is Marine helping his former teammate out?
I'm not too sure. He's definitely not using the tactics we saw earlier. Plausible, tired from the session as he's parked, as he lost his car after coming out of the last turn there. That's not going to cause a safety car. Safety car is very much off. But Avesta Racing now in front of Tim.
Darth Vifer onto the hard tyres, he's going to the end. So, bold strategy, he needs to win this race to have a shot at the championship. This is going to get really interesting.
I mean, why not try it if you don't have anything to lose? It's very close, the whole field is so unbelievably close, I must say. And Ice-T's actually in the lead right now. After
there goes Dylan. Sam. Oh, it's very tentative for Sam there. That's going to back him up.
That's going to cost him some time. Jamil has very much tried his best to get out of the way there. He even picked up a 3-second time penalty doing that. Very nice of him. But he did held up Sam there a little bit.
Moran and Felix fighting. Around the outside, Felix back ahead.
When the back markers back out of this race, things could get very interesting very soon. It's not over till it's over.
Yeah, when you start battling around Abu Dhabi, the amount of time you lose is insane. So Felix will be able to see Phil, Dylan, Sam, Luke, all in such close proximity to each other, and be able to see that they're losing time. So that could be a little motivator for Felix to get a move on.
Yeah, and Tim just picked up a 3-second time penalty. That's not idle for him. He won out of games his fastest lap. Good job by him, but he won't get the point just yet. He needs to be in the top 10 to get the point. As the Vesta Racing goes completely alright to let the Renault cars go by, and the other cars as well, I believe.
Did he let them by, or did he make a mistake?
I believe he let them by. I'm not too sure, but as Jamil's now fallen victim to GDG Toxic, as Phil's just got past Javi again, who's supposedly enough up into P4 with the alternate strategy behind him.
I think Marine and Felix are doing a little bit of a DRS train. One by one, Felix sets a 3-second time penalty. Marine takes the DRS, overtakes Felix, Felix takes the DRS and, well, overtakes Marine. That's how it's been happening for the last few laps. Not going to happen this lap. Marine back ahead of Felix. And I know you said earlier, Sam, it's not over till it's over. But the bet's early on.
Yeah, and...
You wouldn't put your money on Felix right now?
Nope, for sure not. But things could very much still change if they keep this DRS train up and they can catch up to that pack. It isn't out of the question.
Of course, and there's still another stop for, well, everyone.
Yeah.
Bar Darth FIFA. So how much time can he keep from them tyres? He's not actually too far back from the leaders at all, so I think we're going to get a point in this race where Darth FIFA is leading, and the leaders are going to have to fight their way through him. That could cause an incredible final few laps with Darth FIFA on the hard tyres holding on for dear life.
Yeah, and also, as you say, another stop has to be made, so bold strategies can still happen. Felix, or any of these guys that are Marine, Tim, I think those guys could be the ones going for another car again. They have to, in my opinion. That you can, the undercut is very powerful around here, so you can risk it by going for the undercut. You might lose some time in the end, but I believe that won't matter too much as you have track position then.
Yeah. Notice we've sort of overlooked this at the moment, but Phil, in the provisional lead, he's got 8/10 to Dylan. He's extending that gap. Phil is doing everything perfect right now. He needs to keep this up for another 20 or so laps. He's got one warning, no penalties, and he's driving away from Dylan behind him. This is exactly what Phil needs.
No internet problems as he had so many times this season. Yeah, he's just doing what he has to, and I believe he very much wants to win his first race in over a year, in over, I believe, 3 seasons. So for sure he wants this win, and I feel like he needs this win to give his confidence even more of a boost after those last 2 races.
Yeah, and what would that do to him going into season 5? Stepping down from admin to focus on racing. If he's taking the boost of this win over, well, our summer break.
Yeah.
Could we see Phil getting another championship? Oh dear.
Oh, just drop your phone.
No, my charger fell out.
Oh.
Anything can happen in VRL. As we're on lap number 10. Ice-T leads. So that's a funny thing.
That is.
Clearly getting a move on. Phil will be coming up to the back of them very shortly. Felix has got past Xavi Mateos. Not putting up too much of a fight is Xavi as they go through the final chicane. Felix needs to really bring it. We're around 3.5 seconds back from Toxic, who is just behind Tim, who's just behind this DRS train.
Yeah, and
I think it's only a matter of time before this gets really interesting, Sam.
yeah, I believe it is. Meanwhile, Ice-T's into the pits.
We're going to hard tyres.
I believe the pit window opens between lap 14 and 17. I believe that's where we will see the most pit stops for the medium runners. That went for them on lap 4 or 5.
I think 14 is quite early. Actually, I think probably around 15, 16, 17, 18 is where we'll be seeing the stops for the medium tyres.
To be honest, you could risk it if you really wanna go for the undercut. I mean,
if you're someone like Felix,
yeah,
it's probably your only option. I'd put Gamer out of the session now.
Ooh, that's not what he needs, as he is trying to help his teammate perhaps win the championship still. What's left of it at least. And meanwhile, Sam goes down the inside and his teammate immediately follows. And Dylan probably going up for the DRS here. At least that's what I think.
Meanwhile, Phil's got past Steve. Phil's broken the DRS crucially to the guys behind, so he can now get a move on. Luke's just made contact with Sam. That was a real heart in mouth moment. I'll plug him back in the session. Wonderful. Yeah, Luke getting a little bit too close for comfort now, as Tim's right back up to the back of the straight. So is Toxic. Marine, though, not really able to follow suit.
No, he is not.
And one really interesting thing about this race, Ice-T, 3.4 seconds back. I'm just checking the gaps now. 3.4 seconds back from Darth FIFA, who is also going to the end. These guys, Darth FIFA 12.7 seconds off the lead, Ice-T 16 seconds off the lead. By the time everyone pits, these two will be in the lead, so the leaders will have people to overtake, and that's only going to bunch the pack up more.
And what about Steve, who's just also made his pit stop, and I don't believe he was too far back. Oh yeah, that's an interesting strategy, George. He's followed the game there. He is going to make another pit stop, so a very weird choice not to go to the end there. He was only 5 seconds behind everyone, if we didn't have a yellow flag there.
Dylan's made a stop, he's come out the pits. That's very early for medium tyres.
Yeah, that's not even what I expected.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Adpod Gamer back in the session now, fighting past Xavi Mateos.
Felix will move on Marine.
Yeah. Adpod Gamer, I think, might be holding his teammate up a little bit. Darth Fifa's going to want to get through with immediate urgency.
Yeah, and Xavi in the bloody points. We would have thought that. Xavi Mateos.
He hasn't stopped yet. Nevertheless, he was running in third at one point.
Yeah.
So good on Xavi. But yeah, Darth FIFA needs to get past his teammate. And but yeah, Darth FIFA will lead this race unless anything silly happens. So Phil's gonna have to make a move. That could be a lifeline for Felix. He's got to utilise the undercut there. That's all I can say.
But when do you want to come in? I would believe
it's a balance between getting enough of an undercut and not letting your tyres down at the end. I would say lap 14 or 15.
Yeah, I would pick 14 just to be safe. I mean, my opinion,
can Felix afford to be safe? You know, right now, if he's finishing 7th, I don't know if it's enough. How many points do you score for 7th?
You score 4 for P8, so that's at least enough. But he still needs Sam not to score any points then, as he does win it on most wins.
My point was, if Sam drops out of the race, is it going to be enough? Luke, all over the place behind his teammate Sam. They make more contact.
Whoa. In my opinion, Sam just needs Luke go here. It's holding them both up.
And him, the teammate of Felix, he's not going to sit around. He's going to want to get a move on. There he goes around the outside. Can he make that move stick? Round the outside into the chicane. Yes, he can. This is bad news for Sam, because he's got the teammate of his championship rival right behind his gearbox, on fresher tyres as well.
Interesting.
This race has just got a whole lot more interesting.
Meanwhile, this is all happening for P2. in the lead. Props to Phil, who's still very much leading with 1.7. He's got no DRS though, so that's going to be an issue for him, as there's a whole train of cars behind him. TTT Toxic is only 7 tenths behind as well.
Yeah, Sam, no DRS to Phil. So Phil's clearing away, unless he loses 6 tenths his first sector, which I don't see happening. If Tim can stick within the DRS of Sam, he could cause him some issues.
He could. Dylan's in the pits again. What happened to him? Did he get damage? I don't think so.
Well, his tyres are showing up as 10 laps old. So he must have put on a used set of mediums.
Ooh, that's just that's gonna be very hard to recover from.
Tim in the DRS now of Sam. He's all over the place in his mirrors. He's really close. Can he make a move as Felix goes past Marine? Is Tim close enough for the shorter second straight? Yeah, there's a yellow flag. I think that's just a static yellow flag that glitches sometimes. I
believe it was a Vestal. I got it on the stream. He went off track there.
Fair enough. But yeah, Tim really pressurising Sam here. As Adam would describe it, it's squeaky bum time for the championship leader.
Yeah, he's lost his little buffer of his teammate. He's really gonna have to fight him.
Can Felix now ahead of Moran? Can he start to close that gap?
Oh, they're coming into the pits. Both Tim and Sam are into the pits. So that means Felix is not gonna follow. That's interesting. Very interesting. He's playing too safe in my opinion.
Will Sam get held? Can Tim jump Sam?
Oh, it's gonna be very close, but I believe Sam just about made it.
Yeah. How close are they going to be on the exit there? Where's Untitled Gamer? He's in the pits.
Yeah, they're going to be very close on exit. Look at Tim. He's definitely made up some ground.
Surely Tim is going to have a good opportunity here with the DRS. Surely. He's so close to Sam. This could be massive in terms of the championship.
If Felix were to take this lap to the end of the race, as Marina's little look down the inside, how old would those tyres be?
23.
23.
24 laps old.
It's not.
No.
Not possible.
I can't see it happening.
Ice-T made it happen.
Ice-T made it happen with compassion, pulling him along and throwing everyone out the road. It's not going to happen.
What if he does pit? What has he to lose right now? In my opinion, he played it too safe by going a lap later. He should have just gone for that very early undercut and perhaps lost some time in the end. But even that's just, you get a track position of the undercut. So
Felix will be an absolute sitting duck. Phil in the pits, followed by Sam, followed by Felix. Moran continues. So, Phil not held this time, out cleanly ahead of Luke. Also fresh mediums for him. Felix onto the medium tyre. Nothing risky for Felix. As yeah, you look at Tim right up the chuff of Sam. 12 laps to go.
Oh, would you believe it? Philip has been jumped by Tim and Sam in the pit stops, and this is exactly not what he needed. He had that track position. He's gonna be fuming with rage, and the undercut proves very powerful once again. He's just come out only just about ahead of TTG Toxic. Would you believe
Phil had
it?
a really bad in-lap. Yeah, we know the undercut is powerful. I think Phil made a mistake in the final second. He's in lap. He's got straight on. He's going to lose another position.
The wheel banging with the Ferrari of TTG Toxic. And
meanwhile, Tim, look at Tim. He's so close to Sam. Is he going to make a move? Yes, down the inside.
Down the inside of his championship teammate rival. He's not going to sit around and watch this happen. He's going to have to help his teammate, but even with that, is it going to be enough for Felix to catch up to this pack? Steve in front.
I don't know if Steve's lagged out.
Well, I'm not sure either.
But that's really, look at how much he's backing everyone up. Tim being stuck behind. Well, he was. I think Steve's lagging all over the shop.
Yeah, it's not only my internet here today.
No, it's not.
Look at that train.
Look at the train, and look at Felix closing up. He closed the second in that final sector. Adepokema, fastest lap of the race. This is. I said earlier, I say it again.
P11.
Yeah. Fresh tyres though. Squeaky bum time at its finest. As Adam would say. This is really getting crazy. Jar FIFA leads the race, he's going to the end. Ice-T second, he's going to the end. Steve has to pit again. There goes Sam making a move. Here comes Tim. Also making a move, I presume. Steve has got front wing damage.
Oh, Tim immediately go for a move on the outside of Sam there. Not waiting around. He does have a 3-second time penalty, I just remembered that. Is he going to go for the once again, just like last time, but it's a little bit more close this time. Can he make it work? Sam's gone wide. Sam's gone wide, and is he going to be overtaken by anyone else? Yes, he is. Oh, no, it's just not about.
Ferrari has damage, contact with Steve.
Oh, that's going to put him out of contention for victory, I believe. And Steve! Oh! Steve with DGG Toxic nearly collecting loot there as well. Oh, Steve retired in his last VRL race with DGG Toxic. Perhaps it's the way he entered with an incident.
They're now right up behind Ice-T. Phil also right behind Sam. Felix coming back to the strain. Another 2 seconds gained that lap on the leaders.
I believe Tim's gonna try to how do you say, like, held up this pack? Hold him up,
yes.
Hold up the pack to give some hope to his teammate at least. And TTC Toxic has now retired from the session. Now, is that going to help Felix or is that going to hinder him? As
it's going to help Felix because he was behind Sam. But yeah. Still, it's not enough. Provisionally, if Sam drops off the face of the earth, as Phil passed Sam now. So, big news for the championship.
It's exciting stuff here. Can Phil hold the position on the wheel banging on the straight? Would you believe it? As he now has his teammate in his mirrors, and Ice-T's holding off Tim. Can Phil take his profit again with the DRS? Try to overtake Ice-T and Tim in one corner. Is it going to be enough? Oh, they're being contact. They're both off track. Ice-T retired from the session. Tim with wing damage, and Phil leads the race once again. Oh, would you believe it? It's incredible stuff. Now, does Tim have wing damage? I believe he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Big wing damage. And Tim's now lost his teammate to help him out in this championship fight. He's going to have to make up 4.7 seconds on his own. And it's a crash between the F2 runner-up and a big VRL name, Tim.
That's got to be a penalty. For Phil,
for Phil?
Did you see what happened? Was it Phil coming up behind?
No, Phil did not touch Tim there, I believe. I would like to go back, have a little look at it. I caught it right on stream, so that's good. I was on board with him, so no, what happened? The wall sticks a little bit out on that straight, and I believe Tim did not see that. So the thing what happened is he hit it, and there's nothing Sam or Ice-T could have done there, and that's completely to blame on Tim.
Tim hit the wall, yeah. So
that's another
another twist
in this already crazy Abu Dhabi race, and FS Racing retired from the session. On the outside of that FIFA, they have had a little bit of a rivalry, but it goes clean past, and he's into the lead. And with only about 9 laps to go, he could go to his first VR race win in over a bloody year. Would you believe it?
It's all kicking off here in the final laps of the season. FIFA now, ahead of his championship rival Sam. He's not going to be waving him by anytime soon, is he?
No, he is not.
He's going to force him to sit behind for a while. He's on old tyres. That's going to bridge the gap to Phil and also close the gap from Felix to him. So we'll have to see Felix much closer to his teammate though.
Felix, yeah, he's 3.3 behind his teammate, and Tim is 2.2 behind the rest of the pack. So interesting stuff.
Does Sam have damage?
No.
It just seemed like he was understeering a lot through them fast corners.
I don't believe he has damage. I don't see anything, but
looking at the front wing, I don't know, Sam. He might have nicked a little bit off. I can't quite tell. Nevertheless, there goes Sam. Past Del FIFA. The front wing looks healthy. Just looks as if he understeered.
Yeah. Perhaps he's feeling aware of his tyres.
Yeah, maybe overheating of the tyres. There's Luke right behind Del FIFA.
And meanwhile, Audible Gamer has overtaken Felix for P6.
Sam past Del FIFA, who's gone straight on over the chicane. He'll pick up a big penalty for that. Well, no, he won't. He's let him back through. Fair play. Obviously, outbroke himself on the mold tyres. I think it's time for Del FIFA to make a stop now because he's only going to drop back.
Further, yeah.
So it's all looking set for Sam to become the 4th different champion in 4 seasons of VRL unless Felix can do anything about it. He currently languishes in P7. He needs to win the race. And I don't think that's going to happen, Sam.
I don't think either. Well, you never know. 7 laps to make. 7 mistakes or 1 big one here. Especially at this little corner here. You can go very wide and just collect those curves and spin around into the wall, and you could end up with 0 points. Luke will try to help his teammate.
Crucially for Felix, if anything does happen for Sam, you know, he is in a championship winning position. There goes Luke past his teammate.
As he once did in USA to win his first VRL race. The FIFA's now fighting for P4 here, and Tim's gone clean around the outside, even with the wing damage.
I don't think it's affecting Tim too much, that wing damage. Enough to obviously lose some time, but not enough to cause him to pit. Felix fighting Moran. This is for a potential championship winning position, so I don't think Felix is going to be waving his GPRL teammate by. Lets him go.
Long story short, Felix just long story short, Felix just didn't have to pace it today as that FIFA lets his teammate go by. What?
Yeah, I'm looking at Sam. I don't know if he's nicked that front wing a little bit. He's dropped nearly a second.
Oh,
and looking on the camera, everything looks fine. Maybe he's just lost pace because he's out of the DRS now of his teammate.
He could have intentionally dropped the gap there, but even if it keeps losing this amount of time, I don't believe it's going to be enough for either Tim or Felix to catch up and take the title off him.
But Untitled Gamer, who's getting a move on, that could be the difference. Here goes Felix around the outside of Del FIFA into the first chicane. That's a strong move from Felix. As he gets it slowed down up into P6. He now
immediately on Untitled Gamer with contact on both right wheels there. And Untitled Gamer is not giving in the position freely there. Tim's trying to hold him up and perhaps leave his teammate free afterwards.
There goes Untitled Gamer. Past Tim. Felix looking to pick up the scraps. Switchback line for the second Renault. Will Tim hold up his teammate? I can't imagine he would, considering he has damage. I think he's going to go for a move again, actually. Maybe Untitled Gamer defends the inside line.
Tim not moving out of the way, actually, and Felix just been overtaken by FIFA again. As he pushes him wide there, and Moran immediately goes through. Oh, it's 3 wide there, coming into that very tight corner, and Moran spun around.
There was
Ooh.
damage. I don't know if that's from Felix or not.
I believe
Felix is what we
Marin
seemed
reset the
okay.
track as well. Did you see that?
I wasn't following him, sorry. I don't think it was the dangerous one. But yeah, I think Felix's front wing is okay. Meanwhile, Luke closed a second to Phil.
If it's
Luke's
not going to be
getting
an
a
exciting
right
race for the
rhythm on.
championship anymore, it's certainly going to be for the race victory.
You never know. You never know. If Sam has damage, Ardapol Gamer could close up, and he's dragging, well, somewhat along Tim and Felix. As you said earlier, Sam, it's not over until it's over. Can Luke claim his second win of his VRL career? He's driving stupendously at the moment. 5 laps left to go after this one. It's all in the balance now, even if not for the championship.
Yeah. Imagine if these two, imagine if these two crash, and they collect Sam.
Commentators' cars.
Yeah. Oh.
I'd be very surprised. I hope that doesn't happen. Felix now passed Tim. That wasn't too hard for Felix. He can now get back after Ardapol Gamer.
I wonder if Sam has any penalties. I don't believe so.
I'll
There's
check it
2
now for you, Sam.
warnings. Yes, 2 warnings. Felix has 1 penalty. He has 3 penalties actually. So even if he does get closer,
It's not been Felix's day.
it's not.
Luke has a penalty and 1 warning off another one. Phil has just 2 warnings, so even if Luke closes right up and gets past Phil, he's got to pull out more of a gap than that
Or,
to get the win.
Or I feel pick up another penalty, but
Well, yeah, Luke only 1 warning though off another penalty, so he's got to be careful. He sort of really monstered that gap down to 1 second, and it sort of sat there for the last few laps. So I don't know if Luke's starting to conserve his DRS before blasting off for the last few laps or not.
he is running low on the DRS.
You can only push your tyres for a certain number of laps here at Abu Dhabi.
It's a very tactical circuit. And Jamil goes past Marine for P9.
I don't know if Moran's got more damage. No, it looks alright. He must have just made a mistake. Yellow flag in sector 1. Oh, Dylan's off. No front wing for Dylan.
That's gonna promote Jamil and Xavi into the points, which you believe it's definitely would be the underdog story. Mo is just given fully up and taking the curbs. Man, Dylan.
That's gonna give Xavi some points in the VRL finale. As I said at the start, anything can happen in VRL with just 4 laps to go. Luke still pressurising Phil. Sam sitting tight in P3. He knows that this is enough right now. He qualified P3, is currently P3. We believe he's nursing some damage. We can't confirm that. Front wing looks fine. Do you see what I'm seeing there, Sam? Just a little bit of understeer and a little bit unresponsiveness from the front wing of that racing point.
I'm not. Yeah, it could be just his natural setup.
It could be, but he seems to have dropped a lot of time recently. Nevertheless, he's easily able to hold it to Ardapol Gamer. Luke, though, tantalisingly close to that DRS. Neither of these drivers picked up another penalty yet.
Ardapol Gamer's doing a very good job.
He is, after disconnecting earlier, to be up in 4th now. Solid job.
Oh, Dylan out of the race
himself.
promotes Marcos into the points, and that surely is a very good underdog story.
Again, it's not over. Not over yet.
No.
It looks like, yeah, Luke nudged within the DRS of Phil. So, how much DRS does Phil have to use? Not DRS, ERS, sorry. Not much.
But good start of the story for him is also that Luke doesn't have too many ERS left. Xavi into the has just overtaken his teammate for P9.
I think Jim must have made a mistake. But nevertheless, we'll focus at the front. Just 3 laps left to go nearly as we cross the line.
We
It's
started
gonna be
off
so close.
in Russia. We've had a long way since then. There's a leak. as all these drivers have. We've had our low moments, but certainly more highs than lows. Fantastic racing, enjoyable racing, controversial incidents, everything a league racing season needs for entertainment as viewers, commentators and drivers. But it's not over. 2 laps still remain in the season.
Drivers going to be giving it their absolute all here. Got a yellow flag.
Oh, that's Marine. That's Marine.
Javi up to P8.
What's he doing? Oh, he's trying to go for the fastest lap. Weirdly enough. I believe. He's on soft tyres, so... He's on 2 laps old soft, so... But that's actually quite weird, because it was up in P8, I believe. I would have given him 4 points. Well, at the front, Luke's just closed on by 2 tenths. And he's going to go for the move around the outside of Phil Smith. Has he made the move stick? No, he has not. And he has to go for another time here. Putting Phil under pressure could mean he could pressurize him into making a mistake by going off track and getting another penalty. Phil's foot just...
Luke down the inside. Ooh. Contact. Whoa. Well held from Luke to keep it in a straight line there. Quite an unorthodox move from the racing point there. I wasn't expecting it. I was just checking the penalties. Luke still 1 warning off a second penalty. Phil 1 warning off a first penalty. So Phil can't afford to make a mistake in these final 2 laps now. We enter. It's all really because yellow flag through the first sector. Is that Marine slowing? Marine slowing to give Phil the DRS.
Interesting tactics by Mercedes, but very small tactics as well.
Marine, what are you doing? We spoke about this before the race. This will be one for the stewards to be looking into. Nevertheless,
Luke could still make it happen here. On the outside, he clipped it. Oh, a penalty for him! As he picked up his third, that would very much be removed.
Yeah, that will easily be able to be removed. A little bit dirty from Phil. I don't know if that's quite penalty worthy. Nevertheless, it's still really close. Racing is racing. As we're going to go on to the final lap of this race in just a moment. Darth Vader and Tim still scrapping away for P6 and P7. Jamil in the pits for a fresh set of softs. He's going to go for what would be his second fastest lap in a row.
He only gets 1 chance at it actually, so...
1 shot. Marine's still towing his toe. I'm not sure if the toe is actually effective because he's ghosted, but nevertheless he does still get DRS. And Marine's actually going to pick up a penalty, I'm pretty sure, for ignoring the blue flags. There we go. This is something that we must look into after the race. Is it legal? Technically yes. Morally is it right? Probably no. I'm sure Luke's going to have a few things to say to Marine after the race. And I can't wait to hear him into the interview. We're into the final lap now of VRL Season 4. It's tantalisingly close at the front. Felix has closed within a second of our full game. I don't think it's going to be enough. But here we go, one final time. Go on, Sam. I think Sam's gone.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. Look around the outside of Phil as his teammate's just in front of him. Luke's gonna risk it around the outside there. Has he made it stick? No, but I don't believe he has. Oh, Luke's pushed him right off the track there. And is Phil gonna pick up a penalty for that? No, I don't believe he is. And Luke is gonna have one last shot at it. That would have been
a legal overtake.
Oh,
Phil's let him back through.
Very unfortunate for him.
So, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the penalty situation. I'm sure Luke will be having that penalty removed. So Luke looks on his way. He sees weaving away there.
But Phil has no penalties. So even if he gets that removed, he would still finish behind 3 seconds.
Of course.
So,
of course he would.
So we come to the final few corners of the Season 4 and Abu Dhabi race. I believe it's going to be Luke who's going to win this race, but it's all going to come together for Phil if he doesn't pick up any penalties. He goes down the inside to Morley winning on track as well. It's Philip Smith who wins his first race in over a year, but it's Sam's day as he picks up P2 and the championship as well. It just wasn't enough for Felix as we have the donuts provided by Marine. Very interesting race there. Duffy Fox still goes up to P6. Very nicely done. Oh, what a race. It all came together for him in the end, and it's gonna be Tim who's also doing some donuts here. It's very, they have to get a move on. They have to be careful that they get passed by Cherry or Andrea.
Yeah, maybe that's the plan, to let them go.
No, Tim finishes the race in P7. He couldn't help his teammate to a victory or a podium position to pick up the championship, but I believe they have very much won the constructors here. It's Javi Mateus who picks up 4 points to his points tally as a race in Silverstone. It's a fantastic drive by him. Can Jamil still go for the fastest lap and pick up, I believe that will be 3 points for his point tally as well. Is it the fastest lap for him? No, it's not, but it's P9 and 2 points for him. And Marine has to surely finish the race right now, I hope.
Yeah, come on, Marine, you.
Yeah, he's gonna puncture actually. Just noticed. He's gonna finish the race right now. Thank you for the entertainment, Marine. Appreciate it. Very dire way for him to end this race, but for someone. For 2 people actually, it's not a dire day. It's Phil who wins his first race in over a bloody year. It's been a long time since then. Vrl has come a long time with him since then because of him. And it's going to be his first victory in Season 4 and his first victory since Season 1. As he's braced to champagne, as he gets sprayed by Sam who's won the championship. Season 4 champion, fourth different champion this year.
What a way for Phil to sign off as an admin. To say goodbye to the administrating side of the league.
And surely that will mean give him a massive confidence boost as he can practice more, as he doesn't have to do all the admin stuff. So
of course.
Interesting times are ahead for VRL and for Phil and for everybody on the grid.
I'm going to be inviting the top 3. I'm also going to be inviting Felix to the party.
And Sam. Oh yeah, Sam. Yeah, Sam's in the top.
Well, of course, the top 3. I'm sure. Miseries for Felix, celebrations for Sam, and I cannot wait for season. Where are we now? Season 5 coming your way very
soon.
Well, no.
Well, not very soon, but very much looking forward to it.
Of course, more and more news being released by the day as we wait. The new season will go ahead on the new game, and what a way to round off the season. And we just wait for the drivers now.
Yeah, I'll just invite them. Felix, Luke, Sam, and Phil. So we're waiting on them to do in the post-race interviews. Sam, congratulations on your championship, mate! What a race! Did you have some intense moment in that race? Yeah, I suppose you have. Can you just talk us through your race?
Oh man, yeah. It was sweaty. Yeah, I didn't really have to pace here, but with all those cars around me and Luke staying behind me to hold them up a bit, it was chaotic. And the crash in front of me with Tim and Roy, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, really intense race.
And And were you ever in doubt of this championship after Brazil?
Well, I didn't knew Phoenix's place here. I just want to good fight against him, and yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're feeling very happy right now, as you've just won the championship. How does it feel?
Well, yeah, that's just good.
As cool as ever. Moving on to Felix then. It wasn't your day, was it, around Abu Dhabi?
No, it wasn't. I thought I had pretty decent qualifying pace, but then, I don't know, Sam set in 33.4 immediately, and I was like, fuck. And I basically already knew like it was gonna be over because I could not match that time. So yeah, bad qualifying, bad race. I don't know. It's all I can say.
I'm sure you are feeling very disappointed right now. I'm not sure it helped when Tim crashed as well. Was the plan to hold up the rest of the pack so you could catch up to them, or was that not part of the plan?
Well, Tim was very quick today, but I don't know. Yeah, if he was ahead, then he would try to back everyone up. But well, it didn't happen because some incidents. But I don't know what to say about it. I haven't seen it, so yeah.
I'm sure you are feeling very disappointed.
Condolences, Felix. Moving on to the winner of the race, Phil. It's been a long time coming. How do you feel?
Oh my god. Oh. I'm tired from all the shouting I've just done, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
That
sure
whole
you.
race, man. That whole race. Come out the pits behind, you know, they do a lap undercut on me. I come out the pits behind all three of them. I had to pass all three of them. And I was on 2 warnings for most of the race. Oh, that's the best race I've ever done.
Yeah, it probably is. And is it a relief for you, or after such a long time?
Well, yeah, it is. But also, you see, since my internet has been fixed and my pedal's been fixed, I've been pole, podium, and a win. So it just shows that what I could have done this season if I didn't have all the internet issues. But oh my god, I still can't believe I won, man.
Yeah, obviously massive congratulations. How much of a boost is this going to give you, and can you carry this momentum into a potential full-on championship challenge next season in season 5, Phil?
I'm not sure. Well, it's on the next game, so I'm not sure how I'm going to be at that game. But I mean, I'm just happy about now. We've got the long off season now. I'm gonna
Enjoy
it. You know,
And I think just to inform you,
much.
I think you've broken the record for the biggest win between races. So, biggest gap between races.
That's not the greatest record, but I'll tell you.
So that's one for the record books, and congratulations.
Yeah. Moving on to Luke. Congrats. Should I say congrats on your P3, or would have you wanted more?
Yeah, of course. I would have wanted more because I think my pace was better than a lot of people out there today, and I showed it in the last couple of laps when I passed Sam, and so it's Phil deserved that one. So.
Yeah. And what happened at the last corner?
I got low fuel mode.
Oh,
I thought Luke let me through to take the win on track, but
that's how we thought as well.
I was weaving just before the stadium setting to you because, yeah, at that point I knew you won.
you could tell me that you had low fuel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But yeah.
Well, your teammate at least a champion. You haven't picked up the constructors, but you have done your fair bit in helping out your teammate. Did you go for the second wall here today, or could have you pulled away if you didn't have to help your teammate today?
I think I would have pulled away. On my quali lap, on my last run, I was 10th up more, and then I accidentally pushed my downshift, so I lost all my time. And so yeah, that was pole gone. But in the race, I had a shit start, so I might as well just let Sam through at that point, and yeah, I had to wait behind Sam and Phil, but I could feel I had much more pace than them, so it was quite frustrating actually.
Yeah, I very much understand that. Phil, I want to ask you one more question. Did you have some tactic with your teammate Mariah about with the DRS there, Phil?
Alright, basically what I'm going to say is, Bowl was always saying, he was looking at the map all the time, he was trying to give me tips, when I was just dead silent. I just wanted to focus, and then the last couple of laps we saw that Luke was behind. I said that Luke was behind me, and he just out of the blue he said, "I don't care about 8th. I'm going to pit and I'm going to give you a slipstream." And I mean, I can't say to him, "No, don't do that." But also after he gave me slipstream for like a lap, I said to him, "Just move out of the way, because I don't want anything to like what's the word?
Investigate
the
it?
fact that I won the race. Like, I don't want that to overshadow the fact that I deserve to win the race today."
You did, and I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate everyone here. I want to give my condolences to Felix. You did put up a great fight here. Wasn't to be in the end, but you did very much entertain us throughout this season. I want to thank you, everybody, for watching this season. I want to thank Phil for adminning for such a long time, 4 seasons, nearly a year. He's gonna step down after this season, so thanks for that, Phil. And be sure to keep an eye out on the Instagram account, as we do have some interesting news, not only on Season 5, but also something that could fill the gap between Season 5 and Season 4. So I want to thank you for watching, and goodbye.